Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be using some Madam Glam gel polish. I am very happy that they have sent these over to me. I have a code at the bottom of the screen for y'all to use when you check out at Madam Glam. I'm going to show you what colors they allowed me to choose. I was able to choose 5 colors, and then they sent me a base coat and a top coat. So the colors that I chose were perfect for fall. I chose an orange, a burgundy, and a green. But here are the base coat and the top coat that came with everything. I'm very thankful that they sent those over. They are amazing quality. The consistency, the shine, just so good. And then these are the 3 colors that I chose. I wasn't really paying attention to the green so much. I just loved the color of the green. It's actually a jelly green, and I have plans for it. Definitely, especially for winter time. So the burgundy and the green are going to be used also for Christmas designs that I have in mind. But the orange is like, this is one of my favorite shades. This shade and then copper are my 2 favorite shades of orange. And then I got this white ink. It's white alcohol ink and the velvet top coat because I saw a nail design that is a neon smoke from the Ball Pit Addict, Maddox. I don't know if you follow her, but this is the design that she was doing and showed how to do, but that's for another video. Y'all will have to come back to see that. So I got those colors to do a cool fall design so they could also flow into winter. Here is your how to apply guide. It has also how to upcycle and recycle everything, so information for you. I love this card. It's super sturdy as well, so I'll probably keep that around to do some nail art and stuff on. Also, I have these tips. My tips are already tan or nude, so I don't have to apply any base coat on, like a base color coat, because the tips are this color naturally. So I just went ahead and went in with a base coat already on my nails. I didn't want to show that because that's kind of repetitive, but I went ahead and applied a base coat underneath of this burgundy color so that my gel polish would stick a little bit better. So we are going to put the burgundy on the pinky, the index finger, and the thumb. Also wanted to let you guys know early in the video that this video has 2 manis in it. When I was doing this one that I'm doing right now, it didn't quite turn out how I had wanted it to. So I figured I would go ahead and I would throw another design in here. And plus, I don't know why I decided to do hand painting with my non-dominant hand, which also means that there are some bloopers mid-video after I'm done with this mani before I start the next one. There are some bloopers in there. So stay tuned for those. They're not like super crazy, but it did not quite go as smooth as I would have wanted. So back to these colors. This burgundy is so gorgeous. It is like a deep, true burgundy. It's not pulling red. It's not pulling pink really. But it's also one of those colors that is like a dark color in the shade. But when you go into the sun, it changes to a much lighter color. So I wanted to let you know that I went ahead and put 2 coats of the burgundy on, and then I went ahead and put a matte top coat on because that's what I initially wanted to do. I ended up not liking the matte top coat with the design that I did. So, excuse me. They end up actually being shiny at the end, but you can see how they look matte in the meantime, right? So I decided for this design that I was going to do a pumpkin on the middle finger, and then when it got to the ring finger, I just did not know what to do. I was just blanking during my mani because my toddler was waking up from his nap. So I was just like, let me do some swirls. So it just didn't turn out quite how I was wanting, but I ended up really liking it the next day, so I don't know. All right, so we've got our 3 colors that we're going to be using for the design, and I am going to be using this brush, just a liner brush, to be drawing my pumpkin on the middle finger. But to get the pumpkin on there this is my first time ever drawing a pumpkin. I've watched a lot of videos and stuff, and I planned on trying it this year since I felt more confident in my drawing skills. I've been doing a lot of practice off camera, but I haven't been doing any practice with my non-dominant hand because I don't think to use my non-dominant hand when I'm just practicing, when I'm not doing it on any nails. My instinct is to just pick it up with my right hand, which is my dominant hand. I just pick it up and I go for it. But I don't know what came about me where I decided that it was a good idea to do this pumpkin with my left hand. But it turned out okay. This was actually my first and only time doing my pumpkin, so I only got a little bit of gel on my skin, and I feel like it wasn't that bad. So, I mean, all in all, I guess I should be trying to do more with my non-dominant hand, because, I mean, it didn't turn out that bad, and I wanted to do the pumpkin. I know a lot of people do it at the free edge, but my free edge is a stiletto. It's pointy, and it just didn't feel like it was looking right for the design that I wanted. I wanted like a real pumpkin sitting on the nail, I guess. I don't know. But the pumpkin turned out okay. Now, where the problem comes in is when I go to do the lines on the pumpkin. So now I'm just going to clean up the cuticle line because you don't want to cure any gel on your skin. You always, always, always want to make sure that you're cleaning around your cuticles and you're cleaning the gel off your skin immediately just so you don't run into any problems. I went ahead and I applied this matte top coat over top of the pumpkin because matte top coat helps painting be a little bit easier. It helps the gel paint, or the gel, in this case, polish, not slide around the nail as much. So I decided to put a matte top coat on, and then I decided to go in with my lines. This was how it actually turned out, but I want to know how many times you guys think I messed up before I actually was able to do this part. I numbered them at the end of this first mani for you in the blooper section so you guys can see. I'm just going to say it was more than twice. So this was my final attempt, and I learned that once I do these first lines, I needed to put it in the light to cure it, because my problem I was having was getting all of the lines straight. Well, not straight, but like curved, but straight, like pumpkin looking, and not like straight, super straight lines, because then it's not pumpkin. Pumpkins are curved, and I wanted to make the appearance of it being curved. And then those lines weren't enough. I had to make 2 more lines in the smaller parts. So I found out that if I cure after this line, because I was messing up this other line so much, if I cure after this one, and I come back and I do this last line, that it was probably the best way to go, since that last line was the one I kept messing up. But I also tried a longer brush, and I tried to do it all at once, and none of it was working. So I was like, there's got to be another way. So after I do this, I fully cure it, and then it has to have a stem. So I put a stem on it with the green, which I think kind of messed me up a little bit, because the green was a jelly green, so I think I should have mixed some of the burgundy and some of the green, or some of the burgundy, and I was supposed to use the color at the top of my palette there on above the orange, but if I would have added a little more burgundy, it would have turned a little more brown. So I think that would have been a better color to use than the green. I think that's what threw me off from the whole set, was how bright the green was when I put it on the nude. So I just feel like it was just a little more bright than I was wanting it to be. So as y'all see, I struggled for like a hot minute with them lines. It seems simple, but with my non-dominant hand, it was not working. Like, I don't know what was going on. I don't know why I decided to do that, but it was not working. But eventually we got there after a couple of minutes of playing around with that. So I went ahead and I put the stem. I decided I wanted to make it like a triangle-ish stem. And then off camera, I added some vines because I just felt like it looked kind of naked. I mean, I could have put words at the top. I could have stamped something on there, or did some leaves falling. But I felt like after messing up so many times, I was already kind of like at my limit with that nail. I kind of just wanted it to be done. And then I sat there for a minute, just kind of deciding whether I was going to do the nail matte or if I wanted to make them shiny. But the nude color, the nude base for my nails, I put a sparkle top coat over top of the nude nail, and I felt like it just was not coming through matte. So I ended up making, that's what made my decision to make everything shiny, just so that the nude would sparkle and all of that. So I feel like it looks pretty, but you can still see how gorgeous that burgundy is matte. I do feel like that burgundy is screaming to be a one color, just all by itself, super sultry thing. So that's probably going to happen. All right, so here is where I kind of like went off camera to decide, oh, that was another blooper part. All right, so I cleaned off my brush, but then I was like, I'm going to go ahead and base coat this, and I'm going to go ahead and fix it because I think I want to put some vines on it. So I just ended up putting a matte top coat on again just so that I could do my vines because I didn't want to mess anything up or stain my nail if I wasn't gonna like the vines that I did. And I tried a couple of different vines because I wasn't quite sure like the shape, and I was definitely having a hard time with my non-dominant hand doing anything other than like normal stuff, like the little bit of lines that I was doing. But when I went to like curving, it got to be like too difficult. I don't know why it just doesn't work yet. I'm working on it, getting better, but in the meantime, it did okay. We're gonna give it props because it helped this mani. And then also when I go to do the lines, like it worked out great. So I throw the matte top coat on, and then I do the vines off camera just because I was getting a little frustrated at this point, and I was just like, I'm just gonna do this off camera. So next time that I come back, you will see vines on my nail, and that is why. But also, you see me cleaning up with this orange wood stick. I do dip the edge of my orange wood stick in alcohol just to make sure that I am cleaning the gel and I'm just not spreading it. So there are the vines. They're not bad, right? And then I didn't know what I wanted to do, so it took me a little bit longer off camera to decide what I wanted to do. And then once I laid down this line, I was like, you know what? It's just going to be swirls. So you see how easy that was? And I'm still using, this was the first take. I really did not wipe these off. I did one, and then I cured it for about 15 seconds. So a partial cure, just enough to make it not blend with my other colors I was going to do. I do a line of green, then I do a line of orange, and then I do a line of the burgundy just to kind of use all of the colors on that nail as well. But I think that this part kind of threw me off. But I mean, not all designs always go how you want them to go. Sometimes that what you think might look good ends up not being how you thought it would look in your head. But there's no harm in trying. I mean, you can always change the mani whenever you have time to do it. And sometimes if you end up finishing it, it might grow on you too, which is kind of what happened with this one. With this one, I didn't like it initially just because I felt like the green wasn't the quite right color that I was thinking it would be in my head. So I just feel like if I would have mixed it, it would have been a little bit better. But I mean, the next day I was totally fine with it. It looked great. And I ultimately wish I would have just made a matte because I think that could have also made a difference as well. I just feel like the jelly didn't show up as good matte. So now I go ahead and I base coat it to just layer everything out to help the gel polish, help the top coat stick. I also do my thumb off camera just because I just make it a burgundy one, and we've already seen me do that. I make it a burgundy nail, and I've already done that on my pinky and my index finger. So it's just going to be the same color, but I end up making them all shiny, and I like them shiny, but I do like that burgundy matte. It is absolutely gorgeous. I think it's my favorite one. Like that's like one of my favorite colors. That's why I got the orange and the burgundy, right? But the quality of this gel polish is so good. I only did one layer of those lines. I only did one layer of the pumpkin. I did do 2 layers of the burgundy on the pinky and the index finger and the thumb just because I felt like I wanted it to be kind of dark. But I only did 1 layer of the stripes, and you see what kind of color it's giving. They work really good for nail art is what I'm seeing. So I definitely have got to grab more of them because when you find, my dog was doing something. When you find a good gel polish, you can see the difference in the quality. if you can use it for artwork as well as painting the nail and you can get away with one layer, that is how you can tell the quality. All right. I'm finishing up this. Gonna go ahead and throw it in the lamp. I'm making sure to clean my cuticles because you do not want to have any gel stain your skin, right? So you want to make sure you are always cleaning up to make sure you don't have anything lasting. So here's what it looked like at the end after I cured everything. I did the thumb, I made all the nails shiny, and I think it looks really good. It just wasn't quite the look that I was going for, but I mean, it is what it is. I think it is still pretty, but I decided to throw another nail design in here. But before I do, here is a little bit of comedy from this Manny. All right, so I want to know, before you got to this point, if you actually guessed correctly. I sped it up because it was kind of a mess. But here are my mini fails to let you guys know that sometimes nail art does take time, takes trial and error, and even with your non-dominant hand, you should never give up. I also painted my fox the other day with this orange gel, and I kept getting upset with myself, but you know what? I kept going and I finished it. I may have taken more than the amount of tries here to get certain parts done, but I believe that if you set your mind to it, you can do it. So here is where I was telling you, I was looking like it was going to be a good one. I was thinking, oh, it's going to be perfect, but it did not go that way. So then I thought that maybe a longer brush would help, because you know, sometimes when you use a longer brush, it will help. And yeah, no, that was not the case. So ultimately it took me 4 tries to get it done. And then when I was going to base coat my nail so that I could top coat it, I forgot to wipe my nail off and I smeared the gel polish. But here we are. Now, on to the second mani that I did. I am so sorry this mani is so long. This video is so long, but this is the very first video I have ever done 2 manis in. And this one, I decided I needed to use these 2. This was my initial idea when I got the gels. I wasn't sure which fingers I was going to do, so it was kind of me talking to myself. But I am going to do a marble design. Now, I went ahead and I put the base coat on my nails, just did that off camera, and now I'm going to do a fire looking marble, not like just a good one, but literally fire, because these colors, when they blended, the burgundy is so dark that it goes a little bit lighter, and then in the sun the burgundy reflects like a lot lighter than it shows up. It's showing up super dark on camera, but it's like a red, like a soft wine color, I guess you could say. But then I realized I added too much burgundy, so then I ended up later putting some orange on the palette and then some more burgundy. So you can kind of see my process I go through when I'm doing marbling. I left it all in here. Now, my last video with marbling, I used a liner brush, but this time I decided to do it with an ombre brush, which I've seen a lot of people do as well, just to kind of see what the difference would be. My preference is still to do it with a liner brush if I was to do it again, just because I feel like I get a lot more control of where I'm putting the colors versus not really having a whole lot of control. But here's kind of what I did for my marble for how to make it look really good. Now, it started off kind of just being like a weird down the middle, down the center of the nail weird kind of thing, but then I ended up doing that whole side of the nail, and then it blended a little too much, like I was saying. So I was like, I definitely have to put more orange in here, because it just turned out like the middle color that I just wiped off, it all kind of turned out that color. And then the clear stuff is just base coat, just to help my brush glide a little bit better. Then I just decided to go ahead and do my second nail with the color that was already there, so that I could have like an even start for when I was going to add the lighter colors. So with the marbling, you do want to make sure that you are not applying too much gel polish as to make it too thick, because if you're making it too thick, it's going to already have a curing problem, just because the light can't penetrate all the way through if it's too thick on the nail. Second, with the color being this deep burgundy, a dark color, light already has a hard enough time penetrating the layers, so with you making it a thick, dark color, it would make it just a little bit harder for the light to penetrate all the way through all the layers and cure them properly without everything wrinkling in the lamp. So with that being said, just make sure that you do thin gel polish layers when you're doing this technique, just because you want your designs to cure fully and properly, and you don't want any wrinkling or anything like that. Also, it is okay to go in with separate colors like I'm doing. If you're not happy with the way that the marble has blended out, you can either go in and mix the colors yourself, kind of like how I'm doing in certain spots, or you can just completely wipe it off and start over. You're not set with the gel polish until you put it in the lamp and cure it. So you pretty much have all the time in the world to work with this. This is why it's one of my favorite ways to do a marble. I have done marbles with dip powder. I have done marbles with gel polish. I'm actually working on trying a marble with poly gel as well. I don't do acrylic because I'm not a fan of trying to play around with monomer, so I just stick to that. But non-sticky builder gel or builder gel in general, poly gel, working on trying different ways to marble that can also still be fun. But I do know that with all gel products, they give you a little more time and a little more wiggle room to work with them, because they won't stay put and they're not unfixable per se until they go into the lamp. So you definitely can take your time, and you want to be very careful that you are not getting any on your skin. You see me getting kind of close, and I get a little bit on my ring finger, but if you get it on your fingers, you want to make sure you are cleaning so good, because you do not want to cure anything on your skin. I don't know how many times I can say that, but I will not say it anymore this video. You just want to be safe. Don't want any allergies, no contact dermatitis, or any kind of allergies. So just be very careful when using gel products. So I got my design how I liked it. I was really happy with how it turned out. So I went ahead and cured it for a full 60 seconds. And then I'm just going to do the burgundy on the pinky, the index finger, and the ring finger. So my hands semi-match, but not 100%. They match, excuse me, a good... You are so loud. A good amount, but they don't match fully. I don't think I've had matching hands in a few months now. I did matching hands. I did a full two red hands and red toes when I went out on a date night. But I usually like to play around with different designs. So sometimes my nails don't even match on the same hand, just because I like to play with techniques and I like to play with different things and putting stuff together. Now, I wasn't sure if I was going to do the orange or if I should, but I feel like in order to keep that sultry look, I needed to do the deep plum on all the nails. So I went ahead and I did the index finger, and then I do the thumb off camera again because it's literally the same thing. And then I shiny top coat, base coat, and then shiny top coat everything. But I really had to do this design. I'm sad I didn't do it first, but this was the design that I had in mind when I was picking the gel polishes, and I'm very happy that it turned out the way that I wanted it to in the end. Also, yes, I have my dog hair got into my nails, which I was trying to use the brush to rub it all the way to the tip of the nail so I could grab it off. But there's the base coat. I'm going to go ahead and top coat off camera, or there's the base coat. I'm going to go ahead and base coat, and then I'm going to go ahead and top coat everything so that you guys can go ahead and see the final product. But I really enjoyed both of these. I enjoyed the gel polish. One thing I do want to say is that if you use the code ErikaNails35 on the Madam Glam website, you want to make sure that you do the pay-as-you-go option, and it cannot be combined with any other offers or discounts in order to get the price with the 35% off. All right, I hope y'all like both of these manis. You'll have to drop a fire emoji or a pumpkin emoji in the comments and let me know which one you liked best. I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of your day, and thanks for spending some of it with me.